What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an EP review to do for you, and I'm going to show it to you right now. This is the new EP from the band Tetragrammacide, entitled Typhonian Wormholes, Indecipherable Anti-Structural Formulæ. This is released on Bonehead Productions, Behold Barbarity. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of India, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very harsh, noise-driven, confrontational, raw, and bestial style of black metal. Yeah. This band came out with a demo in 2014 entitled Tetragrammacidal Oration. And upon listening to a demo like that, you realize this was one of those bands that didn't really seem approachable. They have a very abrasive and confrontational sort of sound and style within their music, within their loud, buzzing sort of guitar sounds, very harsh and rough-sounding vocals, heavy elements of harsh noise and power electronics in their music, just the overall presentation of this band. This is one of those metal bands that isn't meant to be safe to listen to. This is a band that just goes for your throat and just wants to destroy you. And that really got a lot of people talking, a lot of heads talking, and a lot of interest shown in a band like this. And now we have a brand new release from this band entitled Typhonian Wormholes, Indecipherable Anti-Structural Formulæ. It's only 7 tracks, and it clocks in at around 21 minutes in length. And honestly, upon listening to this, you realize that bands like these are why the metal underground is such a thriving sort of commodity. So unbelievably violent, harsh, and confrontational. You really don't know what you're going to be in for when you listen to a band like this. This is going to be very off-putting to the average metal listener. But for the metal listener that understands and appreciates what raw, bestial sounding metal is, then you'll have no problem going into what Tetragrammacide do. This is such an amazing EP to listen to. I mean, from the minute you get into the introduction of this record, and then for the next couple of tracks down, you realize you're in for some hellish ideas being presented here. Like I said before, this is a band that incorporates a lot of harsh noise and electronics into their sound. It's very well evidented in all of the major tracks that are on here. Preferably songs like Paramilitant Entropic Initiation and the song Extra-Terroristical Chaosophic Intelligence. The amount of noise being presented on those songs really makes everything that much more frightening and scary to listen to. But as far as the music is concerned, I know you'll hear it, but when you let it sink in with you and get deeper within you, you'll realize that the music is incredibly devastating. Very high emphasis on very loud riffs being presented here. Very loud, very abrasive and obnoxious riffs being done here. I love the way that they sound. It just sounds very scary and very frightening to listen to. Just the tone of it, just how raw this production is, just the way everything sounds, it feels very much frightening to listen to. And that's what I think that a band like this is going for. It goes for that raw, unvarnished sort of sound. Like I said previously, this is stuff that could be deemed unlistenable by the average metal listener. But I don't really think that this release is meant for the average metal listener. If you want to be brave enough to dive into a release like this, please feel free to do so. But go into this knowing you're not going to get something normal out of this. This is anti-norm sort of stuff. The drumming on here is incredibly relentless. High emphasis on crash cymbals, a lot of blasting going on, very relentless and unapologetic all the way throughout. This EP only mainly has 4 songs and is pretty much held up by an intro, an outro, and an interlude in between. Kind of like a well-crafted sort of journey going on here. But going back to the drums, I think the drumming on here is incredibly sensational. It's just as loud and as abrasive as the guitar playing being done here. The patterns, the ideas, the speed, I think it keeps every track on here on notice very quickly, never letting up or slowing down of any kind. I think this is a very masterful sort of drum performance going on here. And the vocals are incredible too. Very loud, very harsh sounding vocals, very powerfully spoken, very well worded. You can understand what this vocalist is trying to come across at you. Of course, you'll once again be dealing with a lot of loudness, harshness when it comes to the overall production, the inclusion of harsh noise and electronic elements, the loud sort of guitar and drum parts. But once you get a grasp of the vocal performance, you'll know you're going to hear something very scary. And the vocals that are being done here are very scary sounding. I love what's being done with the vocal style. It adds that extra level of intimidation going into a release like this. This is some very intimidating vocal work being done here. So overall, bands like this are what keep the metal underground alive. Tetragrammacide are a very special sort of band, and I'm very excited to hear what the future is going to hold for a band like this. I mean, they also came out with a split not too long ago with Lord of Depression and Infernal Sacrament. I'll be talking about that in a later video, but this band is going to continue to keep active and keep busy, keep making a lot of noises, keep making things a lot more hellish and unapproachable. This is really not going to be for everybody, but for everybody that is into harsh sounding black metal, Tetragrammacide is the band to be on the lookout for. I back this band 100%. I back this release 100%. And if you're a fan of black metal, or preferably metal from India, Tetragrammacide are a band that are going to be representative of the future of the metal underground, the continuation of the metal underground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you some links in the description box as to how you can get a hold of this album and listen to it. I will link you to the track Extra-Terroristical Chaosophic Intelligence, which is currently streaming on YouTube, and to the best of my knowledge, it is currently available physically as a cassette tape on Behold Barbarity Records. Probably one of the best underground metal distros going right now. This is a really awesome tape, I should say. Pro white tape. You got a really badass little layout here with some really cool additional artwork on here. I'm going to turn it on the other side. You got some additional credits. You have the band members themselves. It's only 2 people in this band. They can create such heaviness for being for being a duo. And the tape is limited to 200 copies, and there is also a die-hard version of this tape, and it comes with a woven patch of the band logo. There are also back patches to be aware of. And as I mentioned, the split with Lord of Depression and Infernal Sacrament, there was a tape version, but that sold out, so it's going to get a CD version very soon, so keep an eye and ear out for that. And like I mentioned earlier, I don't think I mentioned this, but Iron Bonehead is putting out the vinyl version of this, so that'll be mandatory purchasing. So again, the EP is Typhonian Wormholes, Indecipherable Anti-Structural Formulæ. This is released on tape through Behold Barbarity and will be released on vinyl through Iron Bonehead. Support this, and for a score, I'm going to give this a very solid 9.5 out of 10. EP of the year material, very confrontational, very controversial stuff. If you've happened to have heard this release, let me know what you think of it and where you think of this band. So I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks all for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. Until the next time, Army Hell out.